Keeping things moving now, BBC Wales on One. It's time to wish a very good morning to Anne and Nick.
Good morning.
Hi, it's just after 10:30 on Friday, the 11th of February.
Yeah, and you might have read that the Princess of Wales is looking for a new house. Although I think it might be just a little above one's price range.
No, not sort of places I used to live in London. I've had a few really grotty flats, you know what I mean? Really tiny little places. Stick the key in the front door and you break the back window, that sort of a place, you know. Master bedroom is more like a secret passage, you know what I mean? So we're not looking at that sort of thing.
No, we're not.
Diana is on the lookout for a £5 million pied-à-terre. So we sent Jenny Barnett and our own interior designer expert, Leslie Taylor, on an upmarket house hunt.
And they should be arriving any second now.
Hello.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Can you see me?
Yes, give us a
we
wave.
can.
I'm sitting in the back of a Rolls Royce. I've got these electric windows, look, up and down. But that's not why you want to be seeing me, because you want to see this place we've come to. It's a very upmarket Colditz. Look, everybody, look. Hello, this is Rocco. He's Italian. Thank you. Hello. This is Copples. Kensington we're in. It's where Bieber's used to be. It's the home of the stars. And you know who this person is.
Morning.
Leslie
Morning.
Taylor. Hi, Leslie.
Well, I have got £5 million of total luxury for you to have a look at upstairs.
Come on then.
Come on then.
Now, this may look like a hotel,
It looks
but
like a
is
bank.
actually a block of flats. Doors that open automatically, and we're going in, and you better ring if you want to see us later.
Bye.
And off they strut.
That's a house. Looks just like a bank.
It looks pretty huge, doesn't it?
It
Or a
does.
building society. Anyway, let's tell you about the rest of today's highlights.
Our guest of the day is new Avenger Gareth Hunt.
Kate Copstick goes behind the scenes at the Winter Olympics.
Tanya Brower will be talking about the movie of the moment, Free Willy.
And call 021 609 9000 if you have a problem with your pet, because our Good Morning vet, Mark Evans, will be here to take your calls.
And then we'll be meeting a man who frankly worries me. He's Patrick Whale, the man who made headlines a few days ago after admitting assault on his baby son. Over a period of 6 weeks, he managed to inflict 23 fractures on his little boy's body. And yet he walked free from court, providing he went on an anger management course.
Well, we'll be meeting him after the 11 o'clock news and finding out what's involved in an anger management course. What do you think of the sentence? Were you shocked? Or do you think this could be more constructive than sending him to jail? Call us on 021 609 9000.
And here's the lineup for the rest of today's show. And now, the movie everyone is talking about, and the one all children want to see this half-term, though it's caused controversy too.
It has a title which is bound to make British audiences titter, but in America it doesn't mean the same as it does here. It's called Free Willy. It's truly a fishy tale all the way from Hollywood.
Can you dance for me? Can you dance?
Ray!
What? Can you go in circles? But... He's really doing it. Yeah, look at you. Makes me dizzy.
Looks like Willie's got himself a soulmate.
just the start of it. With us is Tanya Breyer, who's going to be doing a full review of the film a bit later, and our vet, Mark Evans. Hi, good morning. First of all, Tanya, what was it like as a film?
I thought it was a wonderful film, Anne, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I think both kids and adults will really find it very, very interesting. It's a beautiful film, a lovely story. It's a misfit kid who falls in love with Willie the whale and their relationship and what happens with that, and it's just really, really, really very good.
So, Mark, why has it also caused controversy?
Well, because it's one of the really big animal welfare issues is should these killer whales, fantastic animals, be in captivity at all?
I mean, that's what the little boy does in it, isn't it? He fights for the freedom of that whale.
That's right. Even though he loves him so much, he really wants to set him free, obviously, and, you know, it's
so
very
isn't
sad.
this good? It's got everybody talking about whether we should be freeing these whales.
It should be good, because that's hopefully what it will do, but I've just come back from Florida from filming with killer whales in captivity, an Animal Detective special, which will be on next Tuesday, so we've got an in-depth look at that issue then, but I'm not sure that it's going to actually achieve the end result.
Can we see a little clip of it right now?
A little clip of this is a little clip of Mark's report, though. It is going to be a full.
These are killer
Animal
whales in the
Detectives
wild.
film.
That was a big male. This is in captivity, just being handed their food. I mean, look at that in the wild.
It's the contrast, isn't it?
The contrast. The two things are like worlds apart. They really are worlds apart. And most of these killer whales in captivity for performing have been caught from the wild specifically to perform.
And there's also controversy in that the whale they used to make the film, Keiko, is an animal who is in captivity now in what everybody considers to be quite bad circumstances.
Oh yeah, it's a bad pool, it's not good enough for him, it's 7,000 feet up in the mountains, the temperature of the water fluctuates every day. According to conservationists, he's not very well at the moment, and in the Animal Detective report we speak to the world experts in conservation of killer whales.
They're trying to get him out, aren't they?
They want to release him. I mean, they want to do what the film ultimately does, but it's not as easy as in the film how they release him. I don't want to spoil it for anybody how he gets out, but I mean, that doesn't happen in real life. You know, that really is the movies, and I think people have got to enjoy the movie, and I haven't seen it yet, but hopefully I'll see it fairly soon, but I mean, enjoy the movie, but think, for goodness sake, think about whether this is being a bit selfish.
I think the problem is that once you've seen it, you enjoy it, and you think, oh no, all the whales, they've got to get out of captivity, but if you're given the choice to go and see one in SeaWorld, I think, to be honest, a lot of people would want to go and get close to one.
Did it change your view, though?
It did change my view, but to be honest, if I was given the choice to go and see one in captivity, I'd want to see it. You want to be close to these.
OK, well, we'll leave it there. We'll have a chat again later, won't we? Talking more about it with
but
Tanya.
since it's Friday and it's Bet's Day, we're going to be talking about little fish. Yeah.
Matters aquatic still.
Yeah, little fish that we can keep safely.
Yes.
But you're not going to get many homes with an aquarium like this.
No, this is the sort of state of the art of what you could end up doing. This is a marine tank, all these wonderful coral reef fish that you'd find in the wild. Now, this is like £500, £600, £700 to set up like this, and it's more difficult to keep these sort of fish than anything else. So wonderful as they are and therapeutic as they
beautiful,
are, they are fantastic animals.
Do they suffer from a lot of little problems and things though?
The biggest problem all fish suffer from is water quality, because obviously in the sea, any changes in the chemistry of the water is diluted in millions and millions of gallons. Suddenly in a tank like this, which is not only their bedroom, their living room and everything else, it's also their toilet. So that's the biggest problem, that you get a lot of change in water chemistry, and that's what causes most fish problems. So love fish, enjoy this. If you can't afford this, get a video of it, of course, and play it in because that's what they do in dentist waiting rooms and things. It's very therapeutic. We've got a smaller tank over here, though. Now, this is a community tropical freshwater tank, and in here we've got fish from warm waters from around the world. There are guppies in here with the big fan tails. They come from Mexico. There's neon tetras, which are the little ones at the bottom here, the red and blue ones. They come from South America, from the Amazon. Then we've got gouramis. They come from Asia and India and live in little muddy streams and things. They're very interesting fish. It's a great way to get into fish, because you can look at different fish from different parts of the world that all share the same sort of water.
Are they not bored out of their little minds in there?
Well, a lot of these fish live in very small environments in the wild, and they're very territorial. Now, you just saw, it was a fish doing what all fish do, you know, and they're kissing gouramis, and the males have a damn good snog every now and again to actually fight over their territory, and the one that's left with the worst taste in its mouth at the end of the fight is the one that disappears from the territory. But they guard small territories, so tanks are not bad for these sorts of fish. So, you know, that's not a problem. But again, with this, it's setting it up. Don't assume you're going to get to this stage with fish keeping straight away. This takes weeks and weeks, months to get to this stage. We put more fish in here than you'd normally have in a tank as well, just so you can see them, because normally they would hide. But start small, get the tank set up, let it adjust. Start with just 2 fish. Let it adjust, let the water settle, let the the tank, what they call mature, which is when all these waste products start getting eaten up by the plants, eaten up by the bacteria and the filters that you put in. There's a filter on this far side here.
And do you sort of have to know that they're going to get on all right with each other?
Well, that's the other thing. In choosing the fish you're going to use, take the advice of an aquarist as to fish that they're going to get on, because fish can be very territorial. And things like feeding, you know, most people think of fish just eating fish flakes or whatever. Fish will eat anything that will fit into their mouth, and that includes other fish. So if you've got tiny fish with big fish, that's just moving food as far as the bigger fish are concerned. So you've got to be quite careful about that. And even in a tank like this, some of these fish would breed, but you probably never know because all the fry and the eggs are just food.
Someone who has, say, a dog or a cat or a more tangible animal would say, what's the point of having fish?
It is interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, you can't take them for walks, you can't
but they're
cuddle
wonderful
them.
to watch.
That's the whole thing about it. And I think also they're incredibly educational because, you know, we've just been talking about Free Willy and understanding life in water where we don't see what's going on. You see land animals all the time, but you don't watch it. And understanding water chemistry and the importance of pollution. I mean, if you have a small tank, you don't clean it out, they get polluted.
Yeah.
If you understand what pollution does to fish in a tank, you'll understand what pollution can do to fish in the sea.
Well, you're back again later to do the phone-in.
Yes.
Can I just ask you before you do, why is a killer whale called a killer whale?
Because people, when they were first known, were very frightened that they thought they would eat anything. And some killer whales we've seen on David Attenborough's films and things do kill seals, but they tend to be migrating or transient populations of killer whales. The residents that live around Vancouver and Iceland and so on in family units are virtually harmless. And the guy Ken that I spoke to, who's been for 18 years observing killer whales in the wild, said when he's been in the water with them in the wild, he has never felt frightened. And that's probably their biggest problem. They trust us too much.
But you still wouldn't recommend them as a household pet?
Not unless you've got a very big tank.
Quite large.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you very much.
Princess Diana could probably manage it in her big new £5 million house.
Which
So
we'll
that's
see
just
more
with
of
it.
later.
Yeah. So if you've got a problem with any kind of pet, then do give Mark a ring on 021 609 9000. It's about all animals, not just fish.
So we're not just going to carp on about fish, are we?
No.
Right.
No, we
Right.
wouldn't do
All
that.
animals, and Mark will be here a bit later on to take your calls. 021 609 9000.
In just a couple of minutes, it's time to dust off the old Brolly and Bowler hat as the new Avengers make a comeback. Meet Gambit, otherwise known as the actor Gareth Hunt, right after this.
Overfull and unattended. Leave this and it'll take more than a bit of makeup to restore your looks. Never ignore a chip pan.
The emerald tree is a new but very popular houseplant. They are usually bought as small specimens like this. When you think a plant is outgrowing its pot, knock it out gently to examine the root system. This is now ready to be potted on, using a pot 2 sizes larger across the top and fresh potting compost. When established, plants should be given a liquid feed every fortnight during summer and every month in winter. Continue this, potting on when root bound, until you end up with a graceful small tree like this one.
The Clothes Show in full colour, Sunday at 5 on BBC1.
Hello again. Now, some of you may remember our celebrity guest from the classic series Upstairs Downstairs, in which he played Frederick the Footman.
Da, 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 da.
Thank you.
Got
Yes,
it?
we remembered anyway.
But it was his role as Gambit in the hugely successful series The New Avengers that was to catapult him firmly into the limelight.
Cybernaut. You don't spell it like that. C-Y-B-E.
I know. Does it matter how you spell it?
No.
You went and looked up those old files too, didn't you?
Well, I did happen to be checking on...
Didn't you? Cybernaut. A steel robot.
Man-made.
Man-shaped. Radio-controlled. A kind of walking missile. capable of shattering doors and of riding roughshod over any kind of guard. Impervious to bullets and very, very deadly. Did I leave anything out?
Only that you love me very much.
Oh,
dear.
Gareth Hunt, eh?
That's amazing, isn't it? Wouldn't it be good if it was the other way? I was sort of like this, and then sort of went back like that, and my hair was dark, and no bags and bits and pieces, looking good, really wonderful.
Flared trousers.
No, just flared trousers. Must have the flared trousers. No flared trousers today.
So they're releasing another couple of those New Avengers things
Yes.
on Valentine's Day.
The New Avengers.
Yeah, the New Avengers.
Yes,
Yeah,
the New
there it
Avengers.
is.
On Valentine's Day, a great present to buy your loved one.
Obviously.
Yes.
He said with feeling.
Yes.
So that character of Gambit was you, wasn't it? You sort of devised it yourself, or were involved in devising it?
It evolved, really, you know, after Brian had created the characters, because Brian Clements, the writer. You work on it, you know, each week, and you sort of build bits and pieces into it. He wasn't quite as smooth as that as he got going into the series, you know, because hello, Purdy, you know, I had to sort of be very careful the way you spoke and everything then, but as you got into it, I wanted to take a more rough side to Gambit. They never let me fully get that way, but, you know, he was quite a rough diamond deep down.
How successful was the series, The New Avengers, bearing in mind it was sort of a spin-off, wasn't it, from The Avengers?
Well, the New Avengers, like The Avengers, was sold all over the world. I mean, it sold to America, Guatemala, everywhere you went.
Yeah, it was almost as much of a cult as the original, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, it was a follow-on. And I mean, everywhere you go, you know, I mean, France, very big in France, Italy, Holland.
In a way, were you aware that it was a bit of a dangerous gamble, that? Because follow-ups often aren't very successful, are they?
Well, there were 9 years in between. There was 9 years between the Avengers and the New Avengers, and it came about, strangely enough, through, I think, Linda doing a champagne commercial. And then
Linda Thorson.
Linda Thorson. And then in France, they decided, wouldn't it be a good idea if we do the New Avengers? And so that's how it all came about. It wasn't here. They didn't pick it up here.
Yeah, you did your own stunts, didn't you? Largely.
Majority of them, not all of them. To be very honest, I didn't do all of them, but we did quite a few of them. Yes, they showed me how to dive through plate glass windows and
always
spin
useful
cars.
to know how to do that, isn't it?
Yes, no, I'd never do that now. They
What,
in
did
and
you
out
do
of
that
the car.
willingly?
Willingly, no, for money. I did it for money. Yes, never willingly. Make sure it's plate glass. You know, like, it's not plate glass. It has to be sugar glass.
What's the most dangerous thing you did?
And
would you do it now?
Well, no, I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't do it now. I mean, Patrick was lovely, and he won't mind me saying this. He said, dear boy, the biggest stunt I ever do is getting in and out of the car, and he's quite right. You know,
clever.
Clever, he's quite right.
Yeah.
But actually, you flattened a stuntman once, didn't you?
Oh, that was dear old Rocky. I mean, I've got to be honest to Rocky Taylor. You remember, unfortunate accident he had on the movie. And we were filming the Cybernauts, and he was playing a Cybernaut, and we were doing this karate fight up and down the stairs. And I actually caught him, and I didn't realise I caught him a blow, and he sort of went down, and I thought, oh, come on, Rocky, it's 9 o'clock at night. Come on, I've got to get up, you know, messing about, and he was out. I thought, my God, it does work. Yeah, he was out for the count. But mind you, he had the Cybernaut's head on an overcoat, so it was probably very hot.
Do you actually hit people then during
No, you don't. I mean, we were working very long hours on this one. We were catching up, and we'd work like all day and all night, and we're still doing the fight sequence. And I just mistimed it, and yes, it did work. I thought he was messing about. It was quite funny.
Yeah, and more recently, didn't you have quite a serious accident yourself, working on something for TBS?
Yes, I did.
Didn't something blow up in your face?
Yes, I was doing the Enid Blyton.
Oh, the Castle of Adventure.
Castle of Adventure, and we were filming a sequence where I'm running down tunnels, and there's a machine that they blast out supposedly behind you, full of, I think it's Fuller's Earth and like chopped film. And right when I got to where you are now, in fact, it's probably just a little closer. The guy let it off too early, and it went right in my right eye. And I really thought I was blinded. But they've left it in there. I mean, it's actually still in the movie. But I really thought I was blinded. It put the fear of God
Dangerous stuff, Enid Blyton, isn't it?
Certainly is, you know. Very dangerous stuff. But not as dangerous as the New Avengers. I mean, that was something else. It was great fun doing that.
OK, Gareth, we'll talk again later on.
Yes, we're going to be talking fashion.
Oh, fashion.
Valentine fashion, you know what I mean?
Fashion.
So you have a chance to change.
Get the one-liners in there.
Stop it. Now, tomorrow sees the start of the 1994 Winter Olympics, and for one little town in Norway, it means the next 2 weeks will be nothing less than frantic.
Yes, we sent our winter correspondent, Kate Copstick, to see what goes on behind the scenes of the world's biggest snow show.
Must be nearly at Lillehammer, which you might not have heard of. yet, because it's only a tiny village, but next week they're going to have a bit of a do. They're going to have the Winter Olympics. I mean, your actual Winter Olympics. The place has only got 20,000 people in it normally, so, I mean, how are they going to cope? Obviously, being your average Norwegian village, it comes well equipped with your basic mountain, but hardly a bobsleigh run, a luge, a slalom, a ski jump, a Torval and Dean-sized ice rink. Apart from which, I mean, the population's going to quadruple overnight. And what are they going to do with it once everybody leaves? I'm glad I got here before the rush. Can you imagine this place with 100,000 people a day arriving? Oh, this is Mr. Cobro, the town's development officer. He says I can call him Joe. He's giving me the grand tour. Joe, when you said you were going to take me down the Olympic bobsleigh, what's it? I didn't think you meant by foot. I thought we were going to get into one of these sledgy things.
I was thinking, I'm concerned about your health.
Oh, I see. They go fast, do they?
They do. 130 kilometers an hour.
Wow. How much does it cost to make a giant ice cube like this, then?
It costs 20 million pounds.
And what are these for, these awning things?
That's to keep the sun away from the ice so the ice doesn't melt.
That'd be a turn-up for the books, wouldn't it? 20 million quid, the Olympic teams arrive and the bobsleigh run's melted. Oops. God, it's ice right up the walls.
Yeah.
They don't...
It's nice. You want me to help you?
They don't go all the way up there, do they?
Yes, they do, actually. When they come in the turns, they have a pressure of 5G, 5 times their own weight. And you can stand here and they pass up there.
I'm beginning to be quite glad that we are coming down here on foot and not in one of these bobsleighs after all. Aren't all these people descending on the place and all those skiers and all that, everything, going to kind of wreck the countryside?
Well, trees have been marked with red ribbons. So by constructing the venues here, if the constructor damaged one of these trees, he had to pay a fine of £5,000 per tree.
Wow, and how much has been collected in fines?
No, we haven't become very rich in that matter.
Careful construction workers.
So we're happy about that.
What I want to know is, how on earth do you work yourself up so that you're going to come scooshing down this hill and leap off this? I mean, look at it. It's unbelievable.
You start at the age of 3-4 years. You jump 2 meters, you fall, you get snow on you, and you continue.
So every little Norwegian is a little ski jumper?
Every little Norwegian is a little ski jumper.
I'm amazed you ever get any big Norwegians. It's just unbelievable. Although, I suppose, if you can do it, it must be like flying, really like flying.
I think they love it.
And what's the cone-shaped thing at the end?
That is where the Olympic flame is going to burn.
Oh, brilliant. Who gets to light that?
That's our crown prince will light it. And he will be given the torch by a ski jumper coming down this hill and jumping out with a flame in his hand.
Right. I'll believe that when I see it.
Watch television and you see it.
100,000 people arriving in downtown Lillehammer every day. I don't know if they've got accommodation for the anoraks, let alone the punters. The Americans have brought their own hotel, don't you know? £8 million to build this one. And it's all going to get taken down on March the 1st. But all the bits get recycled. Good, eh? Green points for the Americans. But what of the inner skier, I hear you cry? Well, there's only one thing that Norway's got more of than snow, and that is salmon. Most of the salmon here is wild. Mind you, he looks quite cheerful. You can have it fresh, dry salted, brined, marinated, pickled, smoked, every day. And it's only about £2 a pound. It's cheaper than cheese. Our feathered friends here, grouse to be precise, were probably flapping around a fir tree half an hour ago, because your average Norwegian is more or less born with either a gun or a fishing rod in his ski mitten. Eat in Norway, you'll never go back to chicken nuggets again. Ah, reindeer, the stuff of real Norwegian tradition. You know, there's over 200,000 of the beasts wandering around the fjords. Well, minus this one, obviously. Well, their songs may rate nul point, but it's 10 out of 10 for their food. Look at this place. It's winter wonderland. Nope. It is going to take more than an avalanche of sports persons and a couple of hundred Torval and Dean fans to ruffle the calm of Lilyhammer.
Well, it's a wonderful looking place, but I'm definitely going vegetarian now.
Yeah, but it does look brilliant up there, doesn't it?
It does,
Generally,
yeah.
environmentally.
And good luck, Torval and Dean.
Yes, and to everyone else sort of partaking. Just while we're
Is
talking...
anyone else partaking? I thought it was just for Torval and
no,
Dean,
they're
the
just
whole
athleting,
Olympics.
you know, just generally sort of coming down hills on sort of
Oh,
sticks and stuff.
yeah.
All that business, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I overturned a bobsleigh once, I remember, because I was trying to change the cassette. It was really annoying. But while we're talking about sort of Norway, I would like to talk about other places that are associated with cooler weather than our own. Geographical connection here.
And
Gordon has called us from
meteorological, I felt,
Kenilworth.
as well.
Good morning, Gordon. Now, it's not Kenilworth I'm referring to here, but Gordon comes from Kenilworth. I'd like to wish my daughter, Priscilla Stockdale Bjarnason, a happy 40th birthday today. She lives in Reykjavik, Iceland, and is a faithful European viewer of Good Morning. There you are.
That's lovely.
It's our
Thank you very
first
much.
call
Good
from
morning.
Iceland.
Good morning and happy birthday. Happy 40th.
Yeah.
Happy 40th.
She's a faithful viewer anyway, and the word Reykjavik actually means Valley of Smoke, which I didn't know, so thank you very much for telling us that, Gordon. Happy birthday, yes, to Priscilla Stockdale Bjarnason.
Can I change the climate again now?
Yes, of course.
Right, to heat things up a bit. Because the latest news from the fashion front is that a bit of beachcombing won't go amiss if you want to set the trend this spring and summer.
Yeah, shells, feathers, driftwood, jewelleries, taking on the natural look.
Set the tone because it's the natural things, you see. If you don't want to pay designer prices, Amanda Coles is here to show you how to create natural gems out of the most wonderful things. Good morning.
That's right. Good morning.
See, Nick had nearly got the movement right there, so we want to dress him up in some nice sort of
Yes, how about a bit of a lapel pin then on your side?
I always wanted a lapel pin, thank you.
Well, let's
yes,
stick it
good,
through here.
Good. And what's that made of?
This is made out of a leaf, which you get just down the park, and then a bead here, and a bit of wire.
That's
and also
nice.
stuff which...
yeah, I mean, if you look at the things you're wearing, those are all shells and beads made out of bone and things.
That's right, yes. And this is a nice shell here, and then we've got wood here as well to incorporate the natural theme, which is very much this season's look.
So how do you do it then? I mean, do you need drills and stuff?
No, you just need a hammer and a nail, and then plenty of shells to choose from. And so I'm going to show you how to make up this necklace here, which is very easy. You get your shell, and then you get a hammer and a nail, and you have to do it very gently, otherwise it's going to shatter the whole thing.
I would have thought it would.
Good luck with this.
Good luck. Whee! Shattered it.
Have you?
Anyway, here's one which
Here's one you made earlier.
No, which isn't shattered.
Yeah.
No.
That was inevitable, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was inevitable.
But you really can do that just by tapping gently. You can get
Well,
through
I'll
in
show
the
you.
end.
I'm going to prove to you now. Just gently.
Gentle, gentle, gentle.
There you go. It
Good.
has actually made a hole
there
through.
you are. That proves it. Well
so
done.
it proves it
So the
doesn't
string
shatter
goes
every
through.
time. Yeah. So then you get your string. You need to measure really how long you want it. You have to remember to have a bit more because it's all the knots going to take up all the room.
Right.
Okay.
Ordinary string.
Ordinary string or this nice linen twine. Then you put it through the hole. You have to centre it. Okay.
Knot, and
Do
on to
a
the next
knot.
one.
Then thread through another one, and then you can just put on as many shells as you wish.
Right, what else you got on the table then?
Well, I've got
Natural
some
things like
natural-
stone.
Well, I love these things because you can buy the sort of jewellery basics, can't you, and just add
Yes,
anything
that's
on.
right. We've got
What
a
are
shop
those?
in
Are
London.
those
There's a little,
windmill jobs? Whatever you call them. What-
Find those on the
helicopters,
park
yeah.
in Hyde Park.
Helicopters,
Yeah.
yes.
That's right.
And that's just a pebble, isn't it?
Yes, just a pebble, and it's just wrapped around with a bit of wire here. You have to make a little loop around and then fix it to the choker.
And what about this one? This is beautiful.
Yeah,
Is
those
that
are just
really
roses.
what it looks like? It is little
Yes, that's
rosebuds.
right. The rosebuds which have been hung up and dried and then dipped into a bit of varnish, wrapped around with wire.
so
Wrapped around with, is that silver wire or just...
Yes, it's just silver wire here.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
And then here's something which I found on Putney Riverbed. A nice shell. I thought it was a fossil, but it wasn't.
Oh, so you have to go
Can you see
snorkeling to get some of this stuff, do you?
that? No, just go traipsing along the riverbed. It's fine.
Right.
You know, when the high tide is
So
out.
the main thing is, while you're away out and about this summer, is to just keep your eyes cast down
Yeah.
instead of wandering around.
And here's a cross which I made out of some twigs. You just put them together and then tie around a nice bit of thread like this. So it's very monastic. It's what.
And where can you get the basic jewellery gear?
Right, well, we have a shop in London.
Yes, because you run a mail order shop as well, don't you?
That's the mail order service. If you can't happen to go to London or Worcester, where our shops are. And we sell a whole load of beads made out of bone, horn, anything you know. Anything
Right, well, if you want any details on anything like that, 021 609 9000, our hotline, will have any details that you may need.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
It's time now for the 11 o'clock news, read by Moira Stewart.
Good morning. The commander of United Nations forces in Bosnia, Lieutenant General Sir Michael Rose, has blamed renegade military units for last night's violation of the ceasefire in Sarajevo. Nevertheless, the ceasefire agreed on Wednesday is holding.
General Sir Michael Rose says he believes Serb forces are sticking to the agreement worked out with the UN as best they could, and he blamed last night's shelling on renegade military units. He also suggested the new international atmosphere had created some grounds for optimism. But the ceasefire will face its first major test later today, when talks are held to discuss the surrender of weapons positioned around Sarajevo. Meanwhile, the UN says Serbian leaders have distanced themselves from comments made by one of their army commanders that aid workers might be prevented from leaving if NATO launched airstrikes. They're now said to have given assurances that this was not their policy.
The Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, is due to make a common statement about now on the findings of the inquiry into the Beverly Allitt case. Allitt was convicted last year of murdering 4 children and seriously injuring 9 others while working as a nurse at the Grantham and Kesteven Hospital in Lincolnshire. The inquiry, headed by Sir Cecil Clothier, is expected to criticise failings at all levels in the hospital. The former leader of the outlawed Irish National Liberation Army has been shot dead in the Irish Republic. Dominic McGlinchey, who was involved in dozens of terrorist murders, was killed in Drogheda, County Louth. Police think McGlinchey was killed by members of a rival Republican faction.
The shooting happened shortly after 11 o'clock last night at a phone box near the hospital in Drogheda, not far from Dominic McGlinchey's home. A couple who were first on the scene said he was still alive when they got there, but died soon afterwards. It's generally accepted that Dominic McGlinchey led the INLA during its most violent period in the early 1980s. In a newspaper interview, he was reported to have claimed he'd committed 30 murders and more than 200 bombings. He was jailed for 7 years for firearms offences in 1986.
Britain's trade gap with the rest of the world widened in November. The seasonally adjusted deficit of £1,035 million is a marked increase from October's figure of £703 million, indicating that both imports and exports were falling with the rest of the world. Lloyds Bank has announced a sharp increase in its profits. The group saw them rise by £200 million last year to just over £1 billion. The results are attributed to a fall in bad debt provision. The wholesale price of electricity is to fall over the next 2 years. The move follows pressure from the industry regulator Offer on the 2 main generating companies, National Power and Powergen. They've agreed to sell a number of their power stations. The companies say it could mean even cheaper electricity over the next few years. We're back in an hour.
Hello again, good morning. Creditors of the Anglesey-based company Foster Davis Contractors, in receivership since last month, are meeting later today to form an action committee. It's an unprecedented move, and creditors hope vital questions will now be answered. The former Tory minister Lord Howe has made an appeal in the House of Lords for his birthplace of Port Talbot to remain a separate council after the local government shake-up. In last night's report stage of the Welsh Local Government Bill, the government was defeated over plans to abolish the county name of Powys. The Montgomery MP Alex Carlisle has attacked plans to move ear, nose and throat services for people in mid-Wales to Telford. At present, specialist treatment for the area is carried out at a Shrewsbury hospital, but this is due to close because of budget cuts. Mr Carlisle said closure could mean Welsh patients making round journeys of over 100 miles. Time to take a look at the Friday weather prospects to finish. There's a cloudy day in store for most of us in Wales this morning, but the rain and drizzle should slowly peter out, leaving the skies a little bit brighter this afternoon. Top temperature around 8 degrees Celsius. That's the news of Wales so far. We'll have more at just after midday. Back to Birmingham now, and Anne and Nick.
again. Good morning.
Hi. Well, Anne's been talking knowledgeably all morning about the Winter Olympics and her great range of knowledge about the various people taking part, so we thought it'd be nice to know what the weather forecast was going to be for Norway today. Peter Cockcroft, good morning to you.
Hello there, Nick. Yes, I thought we'd have a look at the climate across there in Lillehammer. Now, they have normally about 30 centimetres of snow during February. That's about a foot. At the moment, they've got 132 centimetres of snow, so no problems. And temperatures are normally between about -6 and -11 Celsius, so it's pretty cold over there. And it's going to be bitterly cold over the next few days, and I think we'll find some strong easterly winds coming in. So that may well be a problem for some of the early events. In fact, we're going to find those winds blowing some cold air across to us. Not too bad today on the eastern side of the country, but gradually through the next couple of days, through the weekend, it'll turn much, much colder. Now, we have had some wet weather today, and the remnants of the heavy rain are now stretched across the southern part of England and Wales. I think through the day that rain will fizzle out. It's all down to this weather system here. It is a weakening weather system. Up in the north, though, some quite strong winds across Scotland throughout today. But most of the cloud will be, or at least the thicker cloud with the rain, will be to the west. A few spits and spots here and there, the heavy rain having disappeared this afternoon. The chance of some snow turning up on the western mountains of Scotland, perhaps on the Cumbrian Fells, and as that cold air digs in across the Pennines, there could be a few snowflakes there later. But the eastern side of England and Scotland probably staying dry with a bit of brightness breaking through. Certainly a chilly night to come, particularly across eastern England, the Midlands and East Wales. Now back to Anne and Nick.
Peter, thanks very much. Welcome back. And if you've just joined us, good morning.
And here's the lineup for the rest of the show today.
Larry Turner shows you how to dress to impress.
Will they be lucky in love? That's at 11:25.
Your stars for today at 11:35.
And your pet phone-in problems at 11:50.
Now, today's photo in the frame is from Dorothy Curtis from Hornchurch in Essex.
Yes, she writes, I thought you'd like to see this photo of me taken with my retriever Major when he was 10 months old.
Major, now 2½, often appears to be smiling or laughing. He has a lovely temperament and brightens up the dullest day with amusing ways.
He looks just like my Susie, actually.
Does he?
Oh. Susie's a tabby cat. No.
No, she isn't.
No, she goes on, she says, he loves running through puddles and comes home covered in mud, grinning from ear to ear. And they do sort of seem to smile, retrievers and Labradors. Beautiful, isn't it? Thanks very much for that.
Now, do you remember this horrific story? The story of a young father who tortured his newborn son, inflicting 23 fractures, and all because the tiny child wouldn't stop crying.
And there was uproar when, having been found guilty, the father walked free from court. Instead, he was placed on probation and ordered to attend an anger management course.
Well, was the sentence too light? Is an anger management course the right way to deal with such an offender?
Well, here to answer these questions is the father himself, Patrick Whale, and probation officer Rita Young. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
I think I have to come to you first of all, Patrick. Just say, how could you do that to a newborn baby?
I find it very difficult to answer that because it was a combination of factors that led up to the events. I can't single out a specific reason to say why I actually did what I did.
What do you think of the sentence? The fact that you were allowed to walk free, provided you went on an anger management course?
Because I was set free, it's hard for me to comment, really. But if the judge on the day had decided that I should have been sent to jail for however many years, it would have been fair enough. No matter how long he'd sent me to jail, it wouldn't have been long enough for what I've done.
So what do you feel about what you did now?
Quite... at the time, I was devastated with what I'd done. I was quite sick. I couldn't believe that I'd caused so many injuries to Jack.
No, it wasn't just once, was it? I mean, it was over a sustained period of time you did these things.
Yeah, that's right, over a period of about 4 weeks.
So you knew you were doing wrong as you were doing it, but you kept doing it, and that's what's so difficult to understand.
Yeah. When I realised what I was doing, I wanted to tell Claire what I was doing, but I couldn't...
That was the mother?
Yeah,
of Jack.
That's right. I couldn't bring myself to tell her what I
That's
was
Claire,
doing.
and that's the baby, Jack, who is now safe and well. But that is the baby that you did those terrible things to. Are you sorry?
Very.
Do you think that's good enough to be sorry now, after the event?
No, because no matter what I say or what I try to do, it'll never take away from the seriousness of what I did to him.
Can you understand the public outrage that you weren't jailed?
Yes, yes I can.
Do you understand as well that, I mean, there are a great many people who absolutely hate you for what you did?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if I was not in the top 10 hated people in Britain at the moment.
Let me just speak to Rita Young here. What happens on an anger management course?
Well, I can only speak, obviously, about the group that I'm involved with, and the groups vary according to the area. I mean, there's no such thing as a probation service anger management pack. So I can only speak, as I say, about the group that I'm involved with. But during the course of a programme, we would begin, for instance, by encouraging some discussion about violence, people's own experiences of violence, of anger, whether it's right to feel anger and how anger then spills over. Then we would perhaps start to look at the sorts of triggers that would push somebody into a violent situation, and that can take quite some time, working through what we would call an anger inventory.
If you have people along to your, whatever you call it, handling anger course or whatever, are they people mostly who are on probation, or are they people who are actually within, actually being confined at the moment, they're in prison?
The people that would come to our group would all be people that are on probation. Now, some of them would actually come along, as I assume Patrick will do, as a condition of their order. It would be actual conditions imposed by the court. Now, not everyone who would come to our group would necessarily have it as a condition of their order, but it would have been identified as a particular problem for them, and they would actually come on a voluntary basis.
I mean, you've been a probation officer for a great many years, haven't you? Have you ever had anyone along on one of these courses who's done something as dreadful as Patrick's done?
I must say, on our particular group, no, I haven't.
What was your first reaction when you heard about the case? I mean, it seems like, can you understand the outrage that most people feel?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And in no way, you know, can I condone, justify, or excuse, you know, what's happened. But in a sense, you have to move on from there. And clearly, some people obviously custody is the only solution. But
which is what most people seem to think here, incidentally.
Yes. I mean, I don't know the background. I mean, the judge made this decision in the light of all the information that he had. But clearly, for a lot of people, to put them into custody, a violent, abusive regime would really just reinforce the attitudes that they already have.
We've been overwhelmed with calls this morning, actually, of people, you know, saying that he should have gone to prison, Patrick should have gone to prison. We'd be interested to hear a few people actually talking to us now.
Yeah,
on the
our
phone.
first caller is Bill from Essex. Hello, Bill.
Hello, good morning, Anne.
What do you think?
Well, I'm surprised. It's the first time I've actually set eyes on that piece of scum, and I'm surprised that he's actually been allowed to sit in front of the television cameras, or indeed will want to. I blame the judge as much as I blame him. I think, you know, we've had too many limp-wristed sort of judgments passed recently. And it angers me. I'm sorry, I'm angry because
you're not the only one, I believe me.
You know, and if he needs any lessons in stress management, he should come and see me.
But can't you see also there's a constructive side to it, to try and take the anger out, which would have been made worse had he gone to prison?
Well, get away from constructive sides at the moment. I've since learned, since he sat there and spoke, that in fact he's done it repeatedly. Again, that's something I didn't know. I came on the programme to talk about my anger and the way I feel about it. And then to find out that, in fact, he's committed this offence several times in a 4-week period, it's diabolical. The man's an animal. You know, I mean, we're all under a certain amount of stress. I mean, anybody that has not suffered from one thing or another recently, whether it be financial stress or whatever. But nevertheless, I'm a married man with 2 children, but we certainly don't take it out on our kids. And he's a pathetic specimen, isn't he? You've only got to look at him. You know, and I'm surprised that at the end of the day that he didn't get sent down. If he had got sent down, he'd have got a bloody good hiding.
Bill, can't you just remotely understand the stress that people undergo, especially with very small babies, and you feel you're getting absolutely nowhere, and you're being driven to the edge yourself?
No, there are no excuses, Nick. As far as I'm concerned, there's no excuses. I mean, there's been times when my wife and I, through financial problems, have been driven almost to the edge. But never once has our children been involved in this. You know, it's either been through marital problems or whatever. But we certainly don't take it out on our children.
OK, Bill,
and there is no excuse.
Thanks very much. I think you've spoken for what a lot of people think too. And our next caller is Mick from Birmingham. Hello, Mick.
Good morning, Anne.
Good morning. What do you think?
Well, swap round. To put him in a room and allow parents to go in cause the same amount of damage to him what he caused to his child. I think that's brilliant anger management for the parents.
That would be sinking to the same depths, though, wouldn't it, really?
Well, you saying that, I've just listened to Bill, actually, from Essex. I'd like to ask Nick, because he's got children, is that him asking the questions or a script? Because really, deep down, you know that when there's no deterrent, people will carry on. So I'd like to ask you, Nick, is that you asking the question?
Yes, because one is trying to see every side of a story, to put both points
Nick,
of view, which is what the
please,
judiciary think
please.
and which is what Rita thinks.
How can somebody inflict those amount of injuries? If it was a quick...
Yeah, but no one approves of what happened, what Patrick did. It's the way to treat it that we're trying to discuss and trying to be constructive about it. I'm not saying I approve of one...
That's fair comment, that is.
One way or the other.
But there's got to be a deterrent. And anger management like that, no way.
But can't you see that anger management must be a good thing? I mean, we should all learn, shouldn't we? We probably could all learn something from an anger management course.
Have screamed.
I mean, my view is that Patrick should be learning that anger management course from within prison and not from without.
You've got 9 months before the child is born to know at least that everything isn't going to go your way.
OK, Mick, just hold on a second, Mick, can you, just so we can hear what Rita has to say. She's a probationer.
Yeah. Obviously, I welcome any opportunities that are provided within prison, but that's still quite an artificial setting, and I think there's more value
but what
in
about
that
the punishment element? I think most of us would probably understand that, like I said, probably everybody could learn something from an anger management course.
But why can't it happen inside
shouldn't there be an element
prison?
of punishment as well? I mean, if a man does something like he did, he should be locked away, shouldn't he?
Well, in a sense, that the easy thing to do is to lock somebody up, because what you're doing is shutting them away. At the end, they'll get their heads down, do the time, come out at the end of that period of time. Nothing's actually happened to that person.
Except that he has been punished for something he did that was wrong.
True.
He's been deprived of his freedom.
We're also concerned about reducing long-term, minimising risks, protecting the public. And if that's what we're really about, then I think, as I say, the easy way is to lock them up. The hard thing is to have someone like Patrick and actually confront him and actually start to question, how has this happened? Why has it happened? Confront him with the effects of what he's done, to actually take him through to see how it could have been different, how it could be different.
Have you done anything to do? Have you started it yet, this course?
I haven't started it yet.
When do you start it?
I'm not quite sure. Probably in about 2 weeks, I should imagine.
And how does it affect you to hear the people talking about you as they have done just now, and to know that there are hundreds of calls coming in on that vein?
Well, I understand. I accept it. I could never say that I shouldn't be treated with contempt, because what I did was disgraceful.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Coming up, dressed to thrill. If you need a dollop of style to win the heart of your Valentine, don't despair. We've fashionable advice for lovers right after this.
Have a look at your fingers. Are they long or short? People with long fingers are patient and slow. They're quite happy spending ages dealing with minute and fiddly tasks. Those with short fingers, however, are quick but impatient. Often inspired, they have the ability to pick up new skills quickly. The longer your thumb, the more rational you tend to be. But a short-thumbed person is rather impulsive, and they let their emotions affect their decisions. Know your hands, know yourself.
last in our series of working with weights, and I'm going to show you how you can use these simple ankle weights to increase the intensity of your sit-ups. Just lie back on the floor. Put your hands behind your head like this to support your neck. And remember, whenever you lift up, it's important that you must breathe out, and that will enable you to pull your tummy right in. Now, take one leg out. Remember, don't drop it down too much, or else your lower back is likely to arch away from the floor, and you might hurt it. So lift it up. Now, from there, you bend your knee in towards your chin, pulling your tummy right in, and lower it down. Again, breathe out as you lift up, and down. 10 times on that side, and then repeat the same on the other side. So breathe out, chin away from your chest, and breathe in. Breathe out, and breathe in. 10 times on that side, and then repeat the whole thing once more. Now, you also will need to stretch the tummy muscles. So if you roll over onto your tummy, elbows out to your side. Now, keeping the back of the neck long, you push up onto your elbows, and you'll feel a great stretch in the tummy muscles. Just hold it there for about 8 seconds. And to release your back, sit back on your heels like this. That should feel really good. Oh. So now I've done it, you do it, and I'll see you next week.
Down! 1 minute it's the wedding to look forward to.
No, Rodney's middle name was Charlton.
Oh, yeah. It was me mum, she was a fan.
Oh, what, Charlton Heston?
No, Charlton Athletic.
The next it's married life.
Oh, Raquel to give you a ring, you know, to cheer you up a bit. Yeah. Because her marriage broke up and all.
A brother in need.
I love you, Del Boy.
Only Fools and Horses begins tonight at 8 on BBC1.
You dipstick!
Well, we're still being flooded with calls. Thanks very much on your opinion on the man we were just speaking to, Patrick Whale. Although some people don't think he should be called a man at all. Sarah Johnson from High Wycombe says the only person who needs to go on an anger management course is the judge in Patrick Whale's case. An absolute lunatic would make a decision like that.
Kath Evans from Yorkshire said schools should start dealing with anger at an earlier age. Children should be encouraged in school to talk in groups about their feelings. Thank you, Kath.
Gillian Mill from Tunbridge says it's ridiculous having this man on TV. We debated long and hard about whether or not he should be invited onto the Good Morning programme, be allowed to sit here on our programme. And we thought it would be a very good idea, since it simply points out the fact that this was a decision of a British court, and that it was important that you be allowed to air your views on that.
And also important to hear what Rita Young had to say as a probation officer who understands this sort of thing and has her point of view about an apparently constructive way of dealing with it, whether you agree with it or not, and whether we agree with it or not. Christine Jeffries from Wigan said, I'd anger management him, hang him up by his ankles for a couple of weeks, break his bones for him. He's a coward.
Yeah, May Waby from Radlett thinks that. She says Patrick Whale should be castrated. People like that should never have children. Well, thanks very much. You just see the strength of your feelings on that.
Let's cheer ourselves up a bit, shall we?
Yeah, because in case you've forgotten, it's Valentine's Day on Monday. I don't think anyone could forget, actually. But what could you wear to make sure that Cupid's arrow hits home?
Bullseye, perhaps. Something a little more romantic. Here were the answers our fashion expert Larry Turner and Gareth Hunt as well. Hi, Larry.
Good morning. I don't think I do have the answers. I must be the only woman in the whole world who does not have a date on Monday.
Oh.
However,
I'm devastated. Yeah, we fixed you up with Gareth.
That's right. Well, I've only got 3 days to go. Yeah. But, of course, the big decision, if you do have a date, is what on earth do you wear? Now, in the business, it's called result wear.
Result?
It is. It is.
Terrible.
Well,
you know. A very bad result, then,
It's newspeak.
So you want this outfit so that the evening goes according to plan. Yeah. However, there are different opinions on what is successful result wear and what isn't. Depends where you're going. If you're going to like McDonald's, you're not going to go in black tie now, are you?
Probably not. You'd stand out, but probably not.
Well, it could be an interesting evening, I suppose, if you did that. So we've got 3 looks in the studio today. Different ideas of what would be successful, from very traditional to much more unusual.
So we're going to be looking at sets of couples.
We are. We're not sexist here. Chaps should make an effort too.
Oh, absolutely.
Are they going to McDonald's or not?
No, I think they're probably not, no. Now, this is actually Sam and Richard. And Sam, you can see, it's very traditional, sort of, you know, quite sexy, but long black dress with the feather bow. Now, the dress is actually by Whistle, £55.
Yeah, black velvet's very seductive, isn't it?
And it's feminine because it's that longer length. It's not that obvious. And, of course, next door we have Richard wearing the, you know, Mr. Milk Tray Man outfit. He should be abseiling through a window with a box of chocolates.
Tell you what, I do like the waistcoat, because I always think the black tie outfit is a bit
I like the waistcoat.
dreary, actually, and I think that's a
Gareth,
really
you're
good way of
good
looking.
with
You like
Yeah, I like waistcoats. I like
Well, it's the one way a man can actually show a bit of character in formal wear, isn't it?
Well, that waistcoat is actually hired, £10.95 from Austin Reed. Now, the whole suit is Louis Theroux, very expensive, $335. But the great thing about the waistcoat, of course, is you could actually hire the whole outfit if you don't have the money to go and buy a whole new black tie. Just hire it for the evening.
Yeah. So you'd recommend this for sort of seductive Valentine's wear?
Would this do it for you, actually, Anne? That's what I'm
Well, I
asking.
hope Sam and Richard have a wonderful night.
I don't know. What about you, Gareth? Is that
Yeah, I
your
think that's...
seductive outfit?
Yes, I've done quite a lot of seducing and things like that, yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
All right.
Okay, Sam and Richard, thanks very much
Gareth,
indeed. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Now it's Melissa and Ian, isn't it?
This is a none too subtle pair of outfits here.
It's very clear the results.
Yeah, definitely. Now that dress is actually £45
That is a dress, isn't it? It's not a bit of underwear.
No, I was going to say, when's the rest of it arrive? Yeah.
I think you'd have to have matching knickers underneath that, definitely, if you're going to go upstairs at all. Now the outfit that, the man's outfit here that Ian's wearing, that striped jacket is $69.99 from Burton's. The black leather jeans, very Nicky Clark, I thought, actually. He should have
What
been
do
here.
black leather jeans say to you, Larry?
It's very rock and roll. I mean, it's like, I personally would not go for a guy in black leather jeans. I think he really
They
thinks he's
squeak,
something.
don't they?
I don't think I've ever got close enough.
What about the jeans? Yeah, right.
Do you want to enlarge on that or not?
No, I don't think I'd better. I think I might be digging myself into a hole
I like
here.
the jacket.
Do you?
I don't see the old winkle pickers are back.
Yeah, that's a point.
Dating myself, yeah, look, they're really back.
They are back, and of course, if she
That's
got...
a relief. I didn't even know they'd gone.
So are stilettos, and even white stilettos.
That's right, definitely, but not white stiletto with
But
this
let's
outfit,
focus on the
black.
dress, because I think that's lovely.
That's your favourite so
Yeah,
far,
it is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a sort of absence of dress I think you like. Right, well, I think we understand the results. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's very much result
very
wear,
nice.
isn't it? Yeah.
Thank you.
And our last couple.
Well, this is
Graham
something
Mark.
a bit more unusual. This is the kind of outfit that I would probably wear if I was going out for the evening.
That is really nice. And the girl's outfit's quite nice too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what Joanne is wearing, it's that look, it looks even better on a man. It looks good if a woman wears a man's suit, but put something sexy underneath. The jacket is actually neck, $79.99.
Oh, that's lovely.
The cream trousers are also necks, $59.99, and the body is Miss Selfridge, $16.99.
Nick thought she couldn't afford a T-shirt.
I was going to say, yeah, where's the shirt?
What's important about this is, if you're going to wear a man's suit, make sure you've got something sexy with it. So
But
put
would you
a
go
body
out
with it.
in a body like that, showing?
Yeah, you're
Sort
meant
of
to
thing.
nowadays.
Are you?
Yeah,
I'll
well,
go out
that's
with a
what
body
they
like
say.
Definitely, count me in.
And the suit that it's Mark, isn't it, is wearing? Is that the new style?
That
It's sort
is
of
the new
lapel and
style.
stuff?
It's the quite high buttoning, single-breasted. That's only a 3-button, but they come 3, 4, even 5-button. That's by Gilles. That's Romeo Gilles' relatively cheaper line. I do say relatively.
I look forward to chatting on to that in 5 years'
It looks
time.
like mods and rockers.
Gareth's got one of those,
I've
haven't you,
still
Gareth?
got one, yes.
Well, dig it out
It's
of the
incredible.
wardrobe.
It's like a mod
If we're
suit.
having our date on Monday, then you
Yeah,
can go out
I'll wear
in
that.
Yeah, no, I'd go for that.
Yeah.
Definitely go for that look
It's
with the
incredible.
waistcoat.
Yes. Actually,
Okay,
the
well,
drain
Gareth,
pipes, the zoot suits, and the sort of, it's more of a teddy boy outfit.
That's lovely.
Joanna
Thank you
Mark,
very
yeah,
much.
thanks very much.
So if Gareth's going to wear the
I should be long sideballs, get the
purple
old hair
suit,
done. Yeah, I'll be.
what are you going to wear?
I'll be
on
wearing
Monday,
that suit, but in black, of course, with a bit of Diamante. Very nice.
Okay, Larry, thank you very much. I've learned quite a bit today, and I know you have, Gareth.
Yeah, I certainly have picked up a few tips for dressing. Yes, thank you very much. Tomorrow I will be dressed. Mauve.
What a pity we won't be there to see
It's
it.
good to see you. Thanks very much,
Thanks
Gareth.
very much
Thank
indeed.
you. Right, it's always a bit tense at this time on a Friday, as you know, because it's actually the final part of our weekly love story, and it's particularly heightens, I think, the apprehension at Valentine's weekend. Well, this week's story is called Sanctuary, and it's read romantically by Martin Jarvis.
Yesterday's episode ended on a real cliffhanger. Was Stephen, Wendy's extremely attractive, but sadly for Wendy, married boss, going to kiss her? They'd been called out to rescue a dog left abandoned in a caravan, and their closeness, as they worked together at night, had brought about this new intimacy. Or was Wendy reading more into the situation than was really there, because it was what she so desperately wanted?
Wendy hadn't slept a wink all night, and it hadn't been the dog that had kept her awake.
Annie was down unusually early, and even more unusually, she was wearing a skirt. She asked rather vaguely how the dog was, but she didn't seem to hear Wendy's reply. She appeared edgy and nervous, and Wendy could only guess at the reason. Then she was gone, her coffee unfinished, and without even a hint of where she was going. Had she quarrelled with Stephen about Wendy? He hadn't actually kissed her, hadn't actually even touched her, but he would have, she was sure, if Annie hadn't appeared. Then she heard the Range Rover. Where was she going, she wondered. Annie never went anywhere. What was she up to? She'd hardly been gone a minute before Stephen came downstairs. He looked as though he hadn't slept either, as though he'd been wrestling all night with his conscience. He seemed hardly to register her presence at all, moving around with a distracted, absent air. He didn't even glance at the dog, much less ask how it was. She drifted closer to him, willing him to speak, to share his secret feelings with her. There was no doubt that something pretty major had occurred. It had to concern last night and what had almost happened between Stephen and herself. But the atmosphere didn't seem anguished, merely expectant. She kept hoping Stephen would come and find her, that he would tell her how he felt. She was working her socks off and beginning to feel a bit resentful about her lone efforts when Annie suddenly reappeared. What on earth was going on? Whatever it was, Wendy had a horrible feeling she wasn't going to like it. A baby! Annie and Stephen were going to have a baby? Now she had to face reality. Stephen's romantic feelings for her had been merely in her own head. He had never thought of her as anything more than a useful pair of hands. On reflection, she felt more foolish than heartbroken, and rather ashamed, too. Perhaps she couldn't be all bad, though, if the dog could sense her need for comfort and try to meet it. When Annie and Stephen came into the kitchen, she was composed and smiling, and ready to congratulate them both with warmth and sincerity. After all, there was no harm done, except to her own silly ego. A flash of red through the window caught her eye, and she realized with a stab of pleasure that it was Jimmy. Leaving Annie and Stephen to celebrate their good news, she hurried outside. She could feel her smile growing as she went towards him. She could feel the shock in his body when she put her arms around him. She could see in his eyes that he cared for her, and she welcomed it. He was quietly elated by the first show of real affection she'd ever shown him. Who knows, he thought, where we might go from here. Well, I'm glad she finally realized Jimmy's true value. He obviously cared for her so much from the start. Love is more than just physical attraction. It has to be rooted in friendship as well. Let's hope it works out for Wendy and Jimmy. We'll have a new Touch of Love next week. Bye.
Thank you, Martin. You're a star. And Wendy and Stephen, of course, will be having a fabulous night out on Monday. It's a lovely time for them to have got together like this. Such an opportune moment that we're all very moved by, aren't we?
That's very true, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about Martin. I mean, will he be sitting there all on his own all day?
Oh, yes, yes, he'll be reading.
Will he still be reading next week's story?
That's all he ever does, is reads love stories.
It's a pity, that, isn't it?
But anyway, the important thing for Wendy and Stephen, I know they're watching at the moment, we've shown you how to dress to impress, but what if you want to know exactly how to set the scene for that romantic Valentine's evening itself?
Will Hanrahan is here because he knows all about these things with his own thoroughly researched rundown of what's on the market.
And the first thing you don't do is wear a tie like that. That is the start, isn't it?
Is the Donald Duck tie. Thank you to my mum in Bootle for sending me that one.
Actually, I think that's
they're all the rage in
tie.
Bootle,
Now, look, you've done a rundown of the most impressive way to impress.
Once again, I'm at the cutting edge of consumer journalism, and I can give you top 10 tips for seduction this Monday evening.
Oh, good, because Nick needs a bit of help.
Don't look at me like that.
No, well, first of all, you could do with a toupee. But anyway, moving straight along, what we first of all need to do is to set the mood for a Valentine's night date. So let's get rid of the curtains, or at least close them anyway, with this marvellous number 10 tip.
I never knew
Isn't
we
that
could
good?
do that.
Yes, you can just do that.
I didn't know we could.
Yep, that's Swish curtains, and as you see, they're £170 for 150 centimetre track, the auto-glide curtains. Yeah, if you press the top there, we'll open them again, you see. Look at that, isn't it?
So that's the ultimate in seduction,
Crikey, she's only just learned how to use the television remote.
Darling,
She's really racing ahead now.
Let me just
She's
shut
improving.
the curtain.
Yeah.
Let me just
close the curtain. Top one. Try the bottom one then. Anyway, this wouldn't happen, of course, in a perfect date. Everything's got to be on remote control. That's the trick. You don't want to be seen to be fumbling. So the CD, the five CDs at any one time player can be used by remote control, approximately £250 of that. At the flick of a switch, you've got some seductive music, don't you know? Now, the lighting is a bit, you know, can I close the curtains, please?
I'm trying
Thank you. I'll just leave that to me. Now, the lighting doesn't look good to me, so what you need to do... I'm closing them.
Right.
What you need to do is you go to the dimmer switch, which we didn't have time to put on. So we got one earlier, and you just lower the lights, you see.
Oh,
you
yes.
see, it's all done by
I'm
magic,
feeling
isn't it?
more
Marvellous.
romantic.
So we've got the music in the background, we've got the dimmer switching. Now, we also need the right scent.
Yeah.
So we have here some scented candles, which are available also.
Shall I do that?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah,
darling?
please, yeah.
Now, as well as the scented candles, and they're only a couple of pounds, those, you also have the long-lasting candles. This is a 30-hour candle, which I think is a bit optimistic, but there you are. That's a 30-hour candle, which is also for the
30
evening.
hours.
Yeah, this
Quite.
is obviously for Superman, that
And
one.
you don't want to fumble, and you also don't want to cook.
I'm notorious for having trouble
you-
with my wick, so just give me time to get these candles.
Yes, yes. Well, you carry on, and at that very moment, you see, you bring the dinner in. So, arriving with the dinner, we have delivered for just £13.95 from Chicago Pizza Pie, a heart-shaped
That's a bit of a
pizza.
journey.
Thank you,
A
darling.
heart-shaped pizza.
For the love
yes.
of my life, and that's anywhere in the country at £13.99.
Oh, well, I don't like asparagus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, never mind.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
Very
say, would you, on such an
No,
important
I
night?
wouldn't. No, you're right
The
there.
flowers, which of course are an absolute must for a Valentine's Day date, they've come from Interflora, £18 thereabouts, depends how many roses you want, really. That's
Right.
for delivery as
Yes,
well.
there's nothing as romantic as a red rose. No.
Yes, and also we've got some champagne. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to chill the champagne a wee bit earlier, so what you can also do is this great vacuum van, which is an immediate freezer. Well, it takes actually a few minutes, but it will immediately bring your champagne to the perfect temperature, which is minus or 10 degrees Celsius, and that's
worth it. It's just
£6.99.
a sort of sleeve, isn't
It is. You've got to have it in the freezer beforehand.
Can't get it off the
So
bottle there.
if you've remembered to put it in the freezer, it makes you wonder why you didn't remember to put the champagne in the fridge as well. But there you are, just in case you did
Yes,
forget.
you
That was
keep it there.
£6.99.
Keep it there for
now,
romantic
this is the
moments.
pièce de résistance pour moi. I had my date, I prepared earlier.
Gosh, how did you do that?
Hello, darling. Yes, rather attractive, isn't she? Now, things are going quite well, and you've proffered the champagne. There you are, Melissa.
Thank you.
There you are. But you seem to be in the mood. You've got the music, which sadly is gone, but we'll get it again later. Now, what you need to do at this stage is to get her in the reclining position. So just...
My goodness!
What you do is you get a sofa, you see, from Parker Knoll. Now, these sofas from Parker Knoll also go down at the side, and then the lounge lizard perfection, as I am doing at the moment, can then suddenly move over. Quite expensive, I think you'd agree. It starts at £899.
What do you do if Melissa looks terrified?
Well, you get on the phone double quick, and we also have, because presumably Melissa will be staying, this anti-snore pillow. This anti-snore pillow, you see.
Melissa, I know a good lawyer, it's all right.
This is a £29.99. And also, what you've also done is remembered to ask her to bring her toothbrush. And there you are. I get my champagne glass and I say, Melissa, those eyes, that hair, that tooth, everything about you. Where have you been all my life?
Well, Will, I wasn't born for most of it.
I ask you. So there you are, the Valentine's Day tips, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of William Henrahan. Let's recline some more. Enjoy the rest of the programme, I know I will. Get the 30-hour candle going. Cheers.
Cheers.
like this before, have you?
Enjoy the rest of the pizza. Gosh,
Yeah.
thank you, Will.
Thank you, Melissa.
We've
and
learned
Will.
such a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, it smells great round here now, doesn't it?
Cold asparagus pizza. Thank you very much. Now, is the rest of your day going to go this well? Or are you going to get a bit down in the dumps? Well, now is the time to find out, because here are your stars for today, compiled by Radio Times astrologer Patrick Walker, accompanied by two of America's top country and western singers, Trisha Yearwood and Don Henley with Walk Away, Joel.
Trisha and Don. I like that.
Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's a good bit of easy rhythm.
We're continuing to get an enormous number of calls about Patrick Whale, who we were talking to earlier. You remember that he was sent on an anger management course rather than being sent to prison for assaulting his baby and causing 23 fractures. Sian Stewart has called us from Sevenoaks, who said, "My husband was violent with our little boy and was sent to prison for 4 years. He had to do an anger management course in prison. This course really changed him, and he has been punished as well," which is perhaps the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Sounds more like it, doesn't it? Jasmine Jennings has rung in from Ashford in Kent. She said, how can you give airtime to a man like that? Well, believe me, we did debate long and hard about whether we should ever have a criminal like that on the programme, but we thought it did show up what seems to a lot of people to be a crazy decision of British justice, and it was important to see what you felt and to allow you to vent your feelings, and you have been doing that. Jasmine says, is he being paid to come on the programme? Absolutely not. But thanks for calling in.
Sarah Johnson from High Wycombe says the only person who needs to go on an anger management course is the judge. He's an absolute lunatic. But it's an interesting point from Holland here. Jerry van der Lee says, I think he was very brave to come on television. The snag for him, though, is that viewers in Britain now know exactly what he looks like. And that is a very interesting point.
You'll probably remember as well the story we did a while ago now, about 10 days ago, about little George Jackson, who's a baby boy who's waiting for a desperately needed heart transplant in Harefield Hospital. Unfortunately, George is still waiting for a donor organ, but the good news from the hospital is that he is still hanging in there and he's still fighting. So, of course, our very best wishes to him and his parents, Francis and Sharon.
Now, the best-dressed woman in the universe is here, Tanya O'Brien. It's official.
God. It's official. Thank you, Nick. Hello.
You've been promoted. Not just Britain, now it's the universe.
I know, he's promoted me. Yes, well, I come to talk to you about Free Willy, which we were talking about this morning early on with Mark. It's out today, and as I said before, it's a wonderful film. I think children and adults will really enjoy it. It's a heartwarming drama, and it's about the little boy who's a misfit in society, and he forms this relationship with the whale, and how he falls madly in love with him, and he wants to try and free him, and that's really the plot of the film.
Ultimate half-term film. Apparently, people are really getting excited about it already.
I'm very excited.
Is it good?
It's very good. It's wonderful. I mean, it really brings tears to the eyes. It's a very heartwarming story, and also it does make you aware. I mean, that's what we were saying before. You don't, you know, you're not always thinking about the whales, and then you suddenly see him in captivity. The only problem is the whale that obviously played Willy is in captivity himself.
Right.
So,
should we?
Yes.
Sorry. Should we have a look?
Yes.
Sounds called Funny Now.
Harry?
The film Free Willy is about a killer whale in captivity.
And it's captured by some people who put it in a wildlife park, and then it's treated really badly.
The little boy tries to set the whale free.
We gotta hurry! It's not doing so good!
I thought the little boy who played Jesse was absolutely gorgeous and such a good actor.
It was certainly a nice film, watchable point of view. Plenty of soppy, weepy parts, plenty of baddie-goody type. But I think generally the message put across was misplaced and a little bit veering towards anti-zoo generally.
Len, help us. Help us and I'll do anything, anything.
What is it that you think I want from you, Jesse?
I don't know. don't know what you want from me. Look, I gotta look out for Willie, and I gotta do what's best for him. You understand? I'm asking for your help. He's gonna die.
There's a 10-foot length of chain and a winch control behind the seat of the truck. Go and get it.
Go, Willie, go!
I would certainly think twice about taking my son to a marine park, and that's the message of Free Willy.
Oh, does it have a happy ending?
Yes, it has a happy ending,
good.
and it's all right. We took, actually, the people you saw talking about it were zookeepers themselves, and we asked them to come along to give their opinion and whether they thought it was a worthwhile film, and they all agreed that it
Sorry
was.
we cut you off, we thought you were rambling a bit, you know what I mean?
Thank you very much, Nick.
Incidentally, can you just explain the best dressed bit? I said that you're the best dressed woman in the universe, and people seeing you today might wonder what I'm on about. So
God, was it? I had a present for you. I'm throwing it away. Thank you.
No, so what was it? The official title you got?
The official title was Best Dressed Woman in
Best.
Britain.
Yeah.
Best without the R.
Best without the R.
Yeah.
Can I get on to my
That one's
next
popping
item,
out again,
please?
isn't it?
No, no
Okay.
popping out.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to give you a present, Nick, but I think I'll give Anne's first. It's Valentine's Day on Monday.
Oh, I didn't know you cared.
Of course I did. I went searching the universe in my little outfit to find you a present, and I found some wonderful chocolates, and I'd love to give to you.
How did you know?
They're made by
We'll
Gerard.
enjoy those, won't
And
we?
I was going to give this to Nick, but I'll just hold this up. This was going to him.
Wow, Hey.
But he's been very nasty to me
Crikey.
this morning, so I don't know if I will. What
No,
do you
give it
think,
Just
to me.
cross out the Nick and give it to Anne.
Give it to me, and I'll give it to him on
that's
Monday.
wonderful.
Right, you give it to me. Anyway,
I remember.
It's handmade by...
Yes, go on.
Thank you, Nick. It's handmade by Gerard Ronnet, who makes chocolates for the stars, for the royal family, and we went along to his very small little tiny room of a factory to see how he makes these chocolates. And he's got very interesting centres, and he's got tomato centres, geranium centres.
What?
Yeah, while we're looking at it, I think you better taste them and see what happens.
Yeah,
But
OK, Tanya, thank you very much.
thank you.
I'm moved.
Let's have a look.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
When Joan Collins fancies a nut cluster or Jerry Hall blows the diet on a Brazil nut, it's not the black magic they dip into, but the ultimate treat for chocoholics. Gerard, women who are trying to lose weight, or watch their weight at least, they must absolutely hate you.
Some of them do, but there are others who don't. For example, my girlfriend, she's always trying to put on weight, and she loves me.
Now, you've got movie stars, celebrities, royalty. They all come to you for their chocolates. But what are they coming to you for Valentine's Day?
Well, in addition to the chocolates, which are quite extraordinary in themselves in sound, I'm also doing hearts. But these are marbled hearts, or with pictures actually embedded into the chocolate. They're made by hand, they're painted.
They're very unusual chocolates, aren't they? It's not your average Turkish Delight or Yorkie bar. You've got sort of geranium centres, tomato centres.
Rhubarb, gooseberry, smoked lemon.
Will you show me how it's done? And I'm going to try and write out.
By all means, how good are you at lighting backwards?
I can give it a try.
Sweets for my sweet, sugar for my honey. Your first sweet kiss thrills me so. Sweets for my sweet, sugar for my honey. I'll never ever let you go.
Well, you know what they say, a minute on the lips is a lifetime on the hips. Who cares? Do you think Gerald would marry me?
I say. What? I didn't know she was that serious,
Crikey.
Nick.
Millions of men throughout Britain now envy me. That is wonderful. Tanya, thank you very much. It's good to see you today. Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. Hey, there's my chocolates.
Yours,
Is she at it?
There's tomato centres she fancied. Now, Mark,
Anyway,
Mark Evans is here because it's time for our phone-in. Your mother's already called in, I gather.
She has. She says, I'm a scruff and I look really knackered and really tired. So can I just point out, I have only just got back from Florida at 6:30 this morning.
Oh, lame dropper.
We're looking after him.
Yeah, we're looking after him.
And our first call actually comes from Nobby Arkwright in Worcester. He said, my pet gerbil looked very bored, so I placed a large bowl of ready brek underneath his sawdust with a label saying, danger quicksand. Will that liven him up?
Nick.
Please, Nick. You wrote that yourself, didn't you?
He couldn't think that one up.
Let's take our first call.
Yes, and our first caller is Michelle from Essex. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Anne.
Hello. What do you want to ask Mark? Hello, everybody else as well.
Who's that in the background?
Is that the goldfish?
She's been quiet for ages, but now I'm on the phone to you, of course. I've just jammed the bottle in her mouth.
What's her name?
Claire.
Claire. Hi, Claire.
So can we just go over that again?
Anyway, I'm here to talk about my goldfish.
Oh, right.
I've had Jimmy for about 6 months.
Jimmy?
Well, it's Rosie and Jimmy, you see, but Jimmy's
right.
about 6 months, and for about 4 months, his stomach now looks like a golf ball.
Right.
And I did ask in the local pet shop, and they said it could be dropsy.
Right.
He might be full of fluid or something, but there was a little story about 4 months ago. He was swimming around at the bottom, sucking the stones as they do for food, and he got one stuck in his mouth.
Right.
And it was stuck there, well, it could have been all night.
So
and,
what happened?
Well, we got him out of the tank, and I used a needle and poked it out. But what had happened was it was a long stone that had gone in, turned round and got stuck.
Right. OK, now that may be where your problem starts from. Did you actually have dry hands when you tried to get him out of the tank?
Well, no, because I put my hand in the tank.
Yeah, before you put them in the
Yes,
tank. Right,
yes.
OK. What you've probably done is stripped off the outer layers of mucus from the surface of Jimmy, and what's happening now is water is flooding into the fish from the outside, and what normally happens, some amount of water always goes in through the skin, but then the kidney copes with that and removes it. But if there's more water going in because the skin's actually damaged, then the fluid builds up, starts and gets quite large, as you've seen, like a golf ball. Now, the problem is that you could end up with kidney failure, or the Jimmy will end up with kidney failure if that water's not removed. So the simplest thing to do for now is, as we mentioned it before with another fish problem a couple of weeks ago, is salt water bathing, where you put start with half an ounce, but you'll build up to 1 ounce per gallon of salt, and use aquarium salt, not table salt or salt you put on your food.
Yeah.
Proper aquarium salt to actually try and draw some of the water out. But it's really important you start that because you will get kidney failure. And it's interesting that the kidneys in a goldfish, they produce 40 times their own volume in urine every day, which is your interesting fact about goldfish.
So that won't affect the other little fish that I've got in there.
Is it a goldfish?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, goldfish are not affected by salt like that, but if anybody else is watching this and thinks I've got tropical fish and I'll do that to it as a treatment, don't. Tropical fish can't cope with salt.
Oh,
Michelle, thanks for your call. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Best to Jimmy. Right, and next is Yvonne from Solihull. Hello, Yvonne.
Hi.
Hi, you're
Hello.
through to Mark. How can we help you?
Yes, I've got an unhygienic white female rabbit.
Right.
She's about 20 months old. We've had her since she was 10 weeks old. And basically, she's got the run of the garden. She goes out and digs holes. And she gets very muddy and matted when
Right.
she doesn't wash her rear end.
Right, is she long-haired?
No, not really. She's just like normal.
Does she look like a wild rabbit, the same sort of glossy coat as a wild rabbit, or is it more fluffy coat?
No, she's quite fluffy.
Right,
yeah.
OK. Now, that's a classic example of where fluffy coated rabbits wouldn't survive in the wild. They'd die because they would get matted, they'd get infections, they get fly-blown. Flies love laying eggs in rabbit fur, and they get fly-blown and the maggots just basically eat their way through the rabbit.
Right.
That's very common in the summer.
Yeah, well, we took it to the vets last August because it was just, I mean, it looked dreadful, and we picked her up and I tried to sort of soak it off and I couldn't, and the vet actually shaved her bottom completely, and since then I have to wash her every week in baby bath and
OK,
dry her
well,
off.
certainly do that. The other thing you really need to do is to try and get her used to being groomed properly, and that's going to be just a very slowly, day by day, doing a little bit more. Start on the bits that she'll tolerate, right, like on her back and her sides, and then move on to the more delicate areas, like between the back
She'll
legs.
wash her feet, so her back feet get really muddy.
Right, a lot of rabbits,
and she washes those.
particularly the fluffy rabbits, just cannot do enough grooming to be able to clean themselves. So you might have to carry on shaving, but I mean, I think start doing regular daily grooming to try and prevent the problem happening. Because when the summer comes, it could get really serious.
This
they
is
die.
it. When I go on
being
holiday, I don't know what I'm going to do with her, really.
Well, neighbours or whatever would have to get in and do that, but I think you get cracking with it now. All right?
Yvonne,
Thank you for your call, Yvonne. Okay. Let's say hello to Renita from London. Hello, Renita.
Hello, Nick.
Hi.
Hello, Anne. Hello, Mark.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. What it is, I have a problem with foxes.
Right.
They come in the garden because we feed them.
Yeah.
And he's got like a hole or a sore on his back.
Right.
My problem being we have 2 cats and a rabbit in the garage.
Right.
Will they catch whatever he's got, and what should I do, really?
Right, OK, it is possible. If it was something like ringworm or fungus, if there was very close contact between them, which is unlikely, then it's possible it would transmit. The most common problem with foxes, and we saw, I don't know whether you saw our outside broadcast we did from St Tiggywinkles.
Yes, I did.
Did you see that? It was wonderful, wasn't it? Well, we had old Basil. No, the animals were wonderful. Not me.
And you all were,
Oh, well, thank you very much. But old Basil had a bit of mange, a really scruffy-looking coat, and you see that in a lot in urban foxes. What it is mange. It's a mite, a little insect that actually burrows its way under the skin. They're related to spiders, these things, and they live under the skin, cause really mangy coat. Now, that won't pass on to your cat, but it could pass on to other people's dogs. Like the surgery, I've just had an outbreak in a particular area, one road, where there's obviously a mangy fox and all the dogs are coming in with mange.
Do other foxes get it from the fox?
Yeah, they just pass it from one to another. Now, you can treat it, and St Tiggywinkles, what they're doing now and trying to sort of pioneer, is that foxes are very fond of grapes, and there is a drug that you can use by mouth to actually put into the grape to treat it. So the best thing is really to go and talk to your vet about potentially trying to help treating the fox.
Oh, like we could get him some food and...
Yeah, and the vet might be able to give you the drug or use the drug to put in it to treat the foxes and put it in grapes.
Oh, that's lovely.
All right.
Thank you very much.
OK.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Astonishing thing to find out about foxes. They like grapes.
Interesting, isn't it?
Could I just throw a few at you? Sarah Southern from Hampshire says, I have a 12-month-old Akita dog, is it, which snores very loudly. Is it a breathing problem or just natural?
If it snores very loudly, likely to be a breathing problem. Lots and lots of purebred dogs that have got too many folds in their soft palate, they just flap away when they're breathing, so it's an inbred problem.
Briefly, Leonard King Dunstable says, I have 2 koi carp and they're always fighting. Is this normal? Because I'm fed up of pulling them away from each other.
Lots of fish are territorial. I mean, we've seen, you know, with those kissing gouramis today, lots and lots of fish are territorial and they can be pretty nasty to each other. They'll bite and chew at their fins and so on. And the way you've got to stop that is giving them a bigger environment.
Mark, thanks very much indeed. And thanks for all your calls.
And still to come, the Princess of Wales is flat hunting, and we think we found just the des res for Diana. That's after the midday news, read by Maura Stewart.
Good afternoon. The Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, has announced a tightening up of the procedures to safeguard children in hospital. It follows publication of the official report into the murders committed by the nurse Beverly Allett. The report concludes that health workers and managers missed vital clues that would have revealed her as a serial killer.
The official report by Sir Cecil Clothier is critical of the manager of the ward where Beverly Allett worked and 2 paediatric consultants, as well as the hospital management. But it singles out Allett herself as the main factor in the tragedy, a point acknowledged by the Health Secretary in the Commons.
From the outset, we must all acknowledge, as the report does, that the tragic events in Grantham were the product of a malevolent, deranged criminal mind. Everything must be seen in that light.
Mrs. Bottomley said it was important that the lessons from the affair should be learnt throughout the health service. The report itself makes 12 recommendations, among them that no one who has attempted suicide or who has some other mental health problem like an eating disorder should be accepted for training as a nurse.
UN troops in Sarajevo hope to begin collecting the first heavy weapons today from the Bosnian Serb forces surrounding the city and the government forces defending it. The operation is part of the agreement reached on Wednesday for a ceasefire and a surrender of the weapons. The commander of UN forces, Lieutenant General Sir Michael Rose, blamed last night's brief violation of the ceasefire on renegade military units. The former leader of the outlawed Irish National Liberation Army has been shot dead in Drogheda, County Louth. Police think that Dominic McGlinchey was killed in an internal feud.
The shooting happened shortly after 11 o'clock last night at a phone box near the hospital in Drogheda, not far from Dominic McGlinchey's home. A couple who were first on the scene said he was still alive when they got there, but died soon afterwards. It's generally accepted that Dominic McGlinchey led the INLA during its most violent period in the early 1980s. In a newspaper interview, he was reported to have claimed he'd committed 30 murders and more than 200 bombings, including, it's thought, the explosion at the Dropping Well pub in Ballykelly, in which 17 people died. He made legal history when he became the first Republican suspect to be extradited from the Republic to Northern Ireland, but he successfully fought charges of murdering a postmistress and was returned to the Republic. He was jailed for 7 years for firearms offences in 1986.
The wholesale price of electricity is to fall over the next 2 years. The move follows pressure from the industry regulator Offer on the two main generating companies, National Power and Powergen. They've agreed to sell a number of their power stations, and the companies say it could mean even cheaper electricity over the next few years. More news at 1 o'clock.
Good afternoon. Here in Wales, the inspector who passed as safe the Lyme Bay Canoeing Centre where 4 children died last year has admitted his own outdoor activity centre in Powys failed a safety inspection. Bill Higginson's Rock Park Centre near Llandrindod, Wales, last year failed an inspection by the Wales Tourist Board. Mr Higginson has admitted he had no formal training as an inspector, but he claims that it's the government which should be criticised for not implementing a statutory safety inspection scheme. Creditors of the Anglesey-based company Foster Davis Contractors, in receivership since last month, are meeting later today to form an action committee. It's an unprecedented move, and creditors meeting in Bethesda hope to discover how the building firm could collapse with debts estimated at £2 million. The former Tory minister Lord Howe has made an appeal in the House of Lords for his birthplace of Port Talbot to remain a separate council after the local government shake-up. In last night's report stage of the Welsh Local Government Bill, the government was defeated over plans to abolish the county name of Powys. The weather, a cloudy day in store for most of us, but drizzle should peter out, leaving skies a little brighter this afternoon. That's it for now. We'll have more at 5 to 1.
Hello again.
Hi. We have a call here from Vera Donaldson from Paisley in Scotland. Hello, Vera, who says on Monday I'll be flying to Cairo and then travelling on to Luxor. It reminds me of the time that I was on a ship going up the Suez Canal. I said, does anyone know where the loos are? And someone said on Port Said. And I said, I can't wait that long. You know, it's ridiculous. Anyway, Vera says, I was wondering if Peter Cockcroft could advise me on choice of clothes to take. Now, Peter.
Our fashion correspondent.
Clothes correspondent now. Well, here we are. There's the satellite picture looking down on Africa for Friday. You can see the Red Sea, and just to the north of that is the Nile, and it looks as though the weather's going to be super in Cairo and Luxor over the next few days. So I think you'll need a sun hat, you'll need some summer clothes as well, but do watch out for the chilly nights. It can get very cold at night in the Nile Valley, perhaps even a touch of frost, so some warm clothes, and as I'm a weatherman, I think you ought to take some waterproofs as well. Let's turn our attention back to Europe, and you can see that we have got some unsettled weather down in the Mediterranean, some thundery showers, a lot of clouds showing up across Scandinavia. Then we could well find some snow flurries over the next few days in Lillehammer, but the most important thing is this very cold air across western Russia and Scandinavia is going to flood further and further westwards and give us a bitterly cold day on Sunday, not only in the British Isles but across France as well. So let's turn our attention to the Winter Olympics. It looks as though the weather's going to be fine there, cold, clear, bitterly cold, but the winds will be picking up in strength, and those strong winds could pose some problems. In fact, those strong winds developing to the south of this area of high pressure. Now, that really is going to dominate through the weekend. A high of 1,050 millibars, and that's quite high for a high. And that cold, windy weather working its way westwards across northern Europe, bringing some snow flurries with it, perhaps some snow flurries as far south as the Alps and the Pyrenees. But once you get into Iberia and into the western bowl of the Mediterranean, here there'll be some warm winter sunshine, but watch out for 1 or 2 showers developing over the Atlas Mountains. Windy weather in central and eastern parts of the Mediterranean, and we've already seen there was a lot of lumpy clouds down there, so that cloud will bring some heavy thundery bursts of showery rain, but I'm glad to say, Vera, it won't turn up in Cairo or in Luxor. Now back to Anne and Nick.
Peter, thanks awfully. These chocolates are nice. Do you want
Enjoying
them?
it? I won't at the moment, thank you very much. I'll say, oh, that one looks quite nice, actually. Go on.
Ah, that's the one I liked. Now, at the start of the programme, we left Judy Barnett and our interior designer Leslie Taylor musing around a £5 million property situated in exclusive Millionaires Row.
Yes, if you remember, Princess Diana is reputedly looking for something around that price, aren't we all? So our intrepid reporters thought they'd go and take a quick look at what Princess Di can indeed buy.
Hello, girls. How are you doing?
Hi. No, you don't call us girls in this context. You call us ladies.
Oh, ladies. So terribly sorry.
Listen, upstairs. This is extraordinary. We're going to give you 5 minutes of £5 million house. All right. It's on the market by the Rigmalian, or what's it called?
Regalia.
Regalia. Now, she's Virgo, so she remembers. Regalian Trust. Now, listen. Upstairs You've got the proper penthouse, OK, with this wonderful balcony that you can sunbathe absolutely in the nude.
No. You've got the Daily Mail offices across the road. You can't do that.
You sunbathe in very, very, very good company. And then upstairs also you've got the kitchen with the parlour and the front room. It's really lovely.
Well, don't just hang about on the staircase. Give us a bit of a look.
She just doesn't know how to say the right terms, though, Anne. She's causing me major problems.
It's a posh house. This is posh. We come sweeping down these staircase to the master hallway with the master bedroom and the master bathroom, which is what you're going to see. There's more marble here than there is in the whole of Elgin.
No.
Jenny.
You found it in
Wait a minute, they're talking to me. What?
Can we see the blooming place?
Be quiet. We're doing a little bit of a stand-up pattern for
I'll
you.
take over, Nick. Look down here, darling. Marble, pure marble, loads of it, lovely little brass inserts, and further over here, skirtings. You would never see anything like this in B&Q, and there's more.
Now, is this what you get for £5 million?
Well, it's not just the property, I've got to be honest. The backup is amazing. You know, you've got 12 telephone lines coming in here. You've got gentlemen downstairs that will just pander to your every need. It's amazing.
Extraordinary. Carpets now, look at these.
Now this, in trade terms, is called a Clydema carpet. It comes in strips and you sew it together and you put borders in and it's all very posh.
Right, I quite like it. She doesn't like the colour very much.
This is maple, and we also have bird's eye maple and a lovely little detail here. It's all very solid of mahogany.
It's ecological wood, so there's nothing to worry about, and it doesn't mean it's frozen, it means it's the name of the tree.
Right.
One thing that we have noticed, though, this is true, there is no utility room whatsoever in this place. Loads of cupboards.
That's because they don't do any work.
Thank you, Anne. I knew somebody would get that. I've been trying to tell her these things all morning.
Bathroom. Come, follow through. This
Hey,
is...
Jenny.
What?
I don't want you being rude about B&Q. I spend every Saturday afternoon there.
That's you! I thought I recognised your back. Come through. Look, come through. This is the bathroom. More marble. Lots and lots of marble. Look at this extraordinary radiator.
Yeah,
I like that.
It is nice, isn't it, Anne? But look, don't you think
pay £5 million for a radiator?
I know. Auntie, did you notice no toilet roll in the toilet roll holder? It's just not on, is it?
Lavatory.
Perhaps people who live in a place like that don't need toilet paper or toilets even.
They don't. They have the flunkies. Now, down here, you've got the marble his and hers sinks.
Yes, well, I think that's nice.
Yes, look, and a bath.
Oh, it's not much of an outlook.
Well, it is an out. It's Church Street, Kensington Church Street.
Palace to look at.
Can I just have a look at the bath, please?
Yes, please. In its perfect splendour, you've got pilasters, you've got mirrors. I'm not sure about the mirrors.
Yes, is that what they're called?
Yes.
Pilasters.
Pilasters?
Yeah.
Sounds like an insult, doesn't it?
It does. Look, it's not very big, the bath, but it has got features. Look, it's got hot.
Oh my goodness.
Right, it's a
Niagara,
waterfall.
Cold Niagara, and this one turns that into the falls here.
Press of one white button. Look.
Isn't that wonderful? And mirrors everywhere. Look. Just to prove it, there's the cameraman.
No, we've definitely seen enough of you.
And Leslie's going to tell you about the shower.
Is it right that every bedroom there has got a bathroom?
Every bedroom has a bathroom. I have never seen so much marble in all my life, Anne, honestly. But look at this.
You have to like marble, though, don't you?
I know, but I do. I think it's rather nice. Power shower. With, these are called rain bars, which means the water comes at you from every direction.
Come. Look, master bedroom. Look, get here. Master bedroom. Look, a suite.
Right.
Look. Oh, no, that's quite nice.
Look at this. You can do anything you like in here. But these, I think, not she, kit. Look, little dingle-danglers.
Yes, but that's, you know, because the outlook's so dull.
Yeah, you can soon neaten those off, can't you? Cut across.
Oh, yeah, but these, go round here.
Look, we have silk curtains with lovely little fringe detail, huge tassels, thank you, and feel that.
Yes, look, it's like a big blanket, isn't that lovely? But
I'm sure the estate agents would be thrilled by the way you're prodding your way around.
They love it here. I don't like the fact that this is too long, and she tells me that.
It's the thing.
It
is the thing.
All right, keep going. We're not impressed yet.
Look at the swathes of coving. It is nice, it is nice.
It's a sweater. I think it looks like repro. But anyway, in here, the dressing room. The dressing room. Are you ready for this? Look. But no windows.
Yeah,
What's the point of that? Is that just to save on glass, or what?
No, it's because your clothes can then breathe when they're actually in the cupboards. And look, Nick.
Silly.
No radiators. All the heat comes out from inside the coving. It's absolutely wonderful.
And more of this carpet that you can cut up into things. But the pièce de la résistance. Are we ready, my darling? Onto the balcony.
Oh, balcony. Now, this is why it costs so much money. If you want to buy a property, my gosh, the wind's caught up. If you want to buy a property, make sure you have the best neighbours. Who's over there?
Well, I think it's Princess Di, or it's the Queen Mother, or it's Princess Margaret, but whoever it is, it's one of the Windsor family.
Yes.
Very, very posh. And she said to me before, No word of a lie.
Well, I love living in Swansea, but Jenny couldn't understand why, and I'll tell you why. Property like this in Swansea, 250 grand.
So she's just going to take... We're just going to talk about the train. See you later.
We've just had a call from Kensington Palace and they are watching. Could you wave at them, please?
Hi! They've been bothering us all morning, though, Nick. What I want to know is, has the property gone up in value or down in value now they've been around it?
They've absolutely ruined it.
Okay.
Did you notice that marble hall wasn't carpeted?
And isn't it atrocious?
Shoddy.
You can't get much for 5 million nowadays. Girl.
Leslie and Jenny, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And you, darling.
I'll be with you about 6:30 in the evening.
All right, say...
It's going to take me a fortnight to get over this experience.
Yes, wait a minute. Say goodbye in Welsh.
Dabble.
Dabble?
I don't know whether you're telling the truth or not there.
No, Hoyle.
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 Hoyle. Hoyle.
Nice part of the world.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take you to Paddington, darling.
Yeah, we're going now. Bye-bye.
And if you're interested in buying that property, which has been so beautifully shown to you this morning, it's around £5 million. And there's our commission as well, of course, on top of that.
Anyway, I'm off to the Building Society right now to sort out little mortgage. And that's about it for today.
Yeah, have a great weekend, but do join us on Monday for a programme full of love and romance, because it'll be Valentine's Day.
Oh, who's on then?
Aren't you coming? Handsome Charlie from ITV's The Upper Hand, he's coming, he's nice. And Joe McGann as well.
That's the same person as well, isn't it?
Yes, but I wasn't going to let on.
And we'll be asking you to help us choose Britain's most romantic couple.
Yeah, Stephen Saunders will be cooking up a feast for lovers.
And we set sail for a wedding, a young couple tying the knot on Valentine's Day on board a ship, and we're going to be there for their big day.
So do join us on Monday.
Yeah, see you then. Have a great
weekend.
weekend. Bye-bye for now.
And have another chocolate. Bye, guys.